Hello. Today we're going to talk about when and how to introduce clubs into your functional fitness program, and really whether you need to introduce them at all. My name is Chris Butterworth. This is the Healthy Butter Fitness channel. I am 65 years old and I feel great. No, I'm not. I am 56 years old and I feel great. The feel great part is right. I missed on my age. That is hilarious. I am 56 years old, take two, and I feel great. When I turned 50, I was broken down. I was a mess. Chronic back issues, rotator cuff issues, elbow issues, and that's the whole purpose of doing this channel. I went through a functional fitness program. I added kettlebells, and they fixed me. I added club, and they made my shoulders really strong. I added Mace, which is my fountain of youth. I feel like a little kid sometimes doing Mace. And the whole goal here is to help you have a journey that's better than mine was, a little bit easier to put together. We want to fight father time every day, every step of the way. We want to get through our 50s and 60s and be functional, man. Be good, youthful, pain-free, able to do things, and we can. We just got to put a little effort into it. I've talked a lot about building a program. I've demonstrated videos of kettlebells, of club, of mace. And sometimes when we throw all this out there, and if you're trying to build a program from scratch, it's a lot. There's a lot of information to take in, and it can be overwhelming. I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do the other thing. And all of a sudden, you feel like just getting started is not enough. At least for me, I felt like I had to do everything. I had big FOMO. And so let's talk about adding club. The reality is, if you have a fully rounded kettlebell program where you're doing ballistic exercises and grind exercises, the 6 basic kettlebell exercises: swing, clean and press, squat, get-ups, and snatch. If you're doing some combination of those, and over time you get to the point where you're doing all of those, that is a solid program. Those are full body integration, balance, left to right, top to bottom, front to back. For me, kettlebell really fixed my pain. It turns out that part of my elbow issue was from some bad technique. And when I actually studied kettlebell and did a good solid kettlebell program, my elbow pain went away. After a few months. I don't know exactly when it happened, but at some point there, after doing kettlebell over and over and over and over again, my back just stopped hurting. I could get out of bed and just go. I didn't have to make a process out of getting up in the morning, or getting in and out of the car just became a no-brainer instead of being something that was so challenging. So kettlebell alone was giant for me. And when you think about it, a clean and press, if you're pulling a kettlebell up to here and then you're pressing it up, you're doing that shoulder strength right there. So you are getting some specific shoulder exercise. You're also opening and closing your shoulder as you move in. So you're getting rotation in your shoulder and you're getting strength as you press it up. So a clean and press right there is great for your shoulders. A Turkish get up, you're holding a kettlebell over your head. Your shoulder is locked out while your body is getting down and then lying down and then getting back up. So you're going through all these different angles and planes while you have to keep this steady. So all the stabilizer muscles here in your shoulder are getting work. So Turkish get up is great for your shoulders. A snatch, you're going all the way up, down and all the way up. I mean, your shoulder's involved. And actually, even on a couple of the other ones, if you feel your shoulder and you do a swing, you can feel what muscles are moving. You're getting some work here in your shoulders. So a swing, a clean, they also work your shoulders. Not as well as the first 3. But 5 out of the 6 basic kettlebell exercises are getting your shoulders. So is club required as part of your functional fitness routine? And I would say it's probably not required, but over time, if this is something we're going to do for years, 3 years, 5 years, a decade, into our 60s, into our 70s and beyond, it adds variety, it adds a little extra. It can be preventative, prehab instead of rehab. If your shoulders get bulletproof, then you won't tear them later. So I think eventually you probably do want to add club to your program, but I wouldn't get over, I don't know, agitated about it or stressed out about it. Like, when do I have to do it? I don't think there's an exact answer there. I will tell you a couple of things with my program. I had done kettlebells off and on a little bit for a long time, but I didn't really know how to do them, and that's why my technique was bad, and that's why my elbow hurt. So when I started my kettlebell program legitimately and said, okay, now I'm going to do a real kettlebell program, I ended up adding clubs after about 3 or 4 months. I ordered my first club. So if that gives you any indication, I did kettlebell strict for 3 or 4 months, and then I added club. I added a very light club. This is a 10-pound On-It club. My first club was actually an 8X adjustable club, and I had it set down at 7.5 pounds because although my right hand could do 10, my left couldn't. My left hand was like all over the place and wobbly and stuff. So I ended up setting my club at 7.5 pounds. And so I just circles over and over again, 1,000 of them. Shield cast, right hand, left hand, and just do it over and over again. And eventually I got up a little bit. I got, higher weight. Depending on where you are with your shoulders, if you have legitimate shoulder issues now and maybe swinging a kettlebell kind of scares you, it's too much weight or anything like that, you might want to start with Indian clubs. These are 1 pound. These are water bottles, but you can buy clubs that look like this. They're shaped exactly the same. But a 1 pound club, I do these. They're not part of my regular program where I do them on a schedule, but I use these whenever my shoulder feels like, do you ever like it's kind of grindy? Like now it's not doing it, but every once in a while your shoulders just kind of makes kind of a grindy noise. You can kind of feel it in there. If I take these and I just kind of do a really simple movement exercise and I kind of do 5 or 10 in each direction, that goes away. So even today, as many club work as I've done, I still do these once in a while. Not very often, but whenever I feel something not quite right, that's the first thing I reach for. So maybe you want to start with really light Indian clubs or a really light single club. If you're not comfortable swinging one hand because it's really awkward movement, a left-handed around your head is kind of scary, it's awkward. Maybe you go to a two-handed club. This is my current single arm club. It's 15 pounds, but this would be a really good weight to start with as a two-handed, right? Because 15 pounds with 2 hands isn't so bad to control, and you can do circles and you can do shield cast. So that may be the way to go. So if you have shoulder issues, you probably want to lean into clubs sooner rather than later. If you don't have shoulder issues, you probably want to get to clubs at some point in the future, but I wouldn't rush it. When you get to clubs, I do recommend to go light. Indian clubs, really light club for single arm club, fairly like kind of a light to medium club for two-handed club, and get comfortable with it. Own the movement before you go up in weight. The last thing you want to do is feel manly and say, I can do this. I used to pitch in high school. I can do this. And you throw it around your head and you tear something because you're stupid. That's something I would normally do. And somehow I have avoided that, but I'm going to preach it to everybody else. Do not do something stupid. We do not want to help Father Time try to beat us up. We want to fight against Father Time. We want to feel good all the time and not do things that hurt ourselves. When you look online, and I encourage going online and looking at other sources for instructionals, for how-tos, for ideas, for technique, because I don't claim to be the best technique teacher. But what you'll find when you go online is that everybody's going to use really heavy clubs. This is a 25-pound club, and this is probably light compared to what you'll see online. But this is one that I just started with last week, and I went back to doing, I almost dropped it. I went back to doing two-handed clubs, and I built my own 25, or I adjusted my 8X club to be 25 pounds. So I'm starting to do two-handed club with that. But again, I've been doing this for a long time. I wouldn't have started with that when I started. So that's kind of how I got there. I did not start Mace until my second year of doing this functional fitness stuff. So there's no rush to do everything. I do believe that like my current program where I bounce back and forth between kettlebells and clubs and maces, I do some rucking, I do some moderate jogging, like short distance, pretty slow pace, but at least I'm running. Um, I like the variety. I like going back and forth and all that kind of stuff. So for me, having the extra, just being able to change the scenery in the workout for me is a big deal. I like that. Um, but it's not required. I think that if you don't have existing shoulder damage, you could go a long way just with kettlebell. If you have damage, you probably want to add club. Start really light. If you don't have damage, you probably want to add club, but you can wait quite a while. There's no rush to do it. Um, and I think that's kind of how it worked for me. I don't think club was required to fix my shoulder, but because I had some rotator cuff issues in there, I was really scared about doing a clean and press with kettlebell. I had to overcome that fear. I started really light, and I kept thinking my shoulder was just going to fall right out of the socket while I did it. So I started really light, and then I tentatively added more weight. And so adding the club, knowing the club is so good for shoulders, I was really excited to start club. But your mileage may vary. Your program is your own journey. I am trying to provide information that maybe makes your program building a little bit easier. I hope this helped. If it did, please subscribe. If you want anything more like this, it certainly helps me and helps my channel. I'm trying to build a community here so that we can all learn from each other. But that's my story with club. I don't think it's absolutely required, but I think there's a lot of benefit to it. I don't think you have to rush on day one, but I think eventually you want to put some club into your program. Hope that helps. Have a great day. Go get better.